Good afternoon, welcome back to the FSIP Workshop. Today we're going to take a look at our battery watering system products, and we're going to start with our water deionizer. Alright, so we followed the basic instructions to mount this. We mounted the plate to the wall, put the filter into the bracket, used our quick connect fittings to connect the hoses to the actual deionizer, and then we have our battery watering gun connected to the outlet hose of the deionizer. If you want to swing around to the side here, you'll notice there's a blinking light on the side of the deionizer. It's just your status light. Right now we got a flashing green, which means the deionizer is ready to dispense water. If you had a flashing red light, it would mean that the entire cartridge needs to be replaced. And no light means you have a power problem. Either your battery source or AC power is not operating correctly. The deionizer watering system can be used with either the battery watering gun, or today we'll show you how to hook it up to the stealth watering system. Both of them are simply attached via a quick disconnect, and you can put them on and off very simply. Let's get started. Getting ready to install the stealth watering system into the Deca battery. There's an old system that's on it here now, and we're going to remove that system first. Make sure you have proper PPE when you're doing this. You want to have an apron on, face shield, and rubber gloves. Battery acid is not fun. If you're working on a battery that has never had a watering system on it, you'll have the normal battery caps on the tops of the cells. This one already has an old system on it, old watering system, that we're going to remove and replace with the stealth watering system. Keep in mind there is battery acid on the back of these, and use caution when removing them. I've removed all the caps and hoses from the old watering system. You'll see all the cells are now open. We're going to put the new caps in from the stealth watering system, measure our hoses, and hook up the system, and we'll walk you through it step by step. Getting ready to install our new valve cap, vent caps for the battery. Two of them that come in the big bag of parts will be in their own separate bag. And those two are the end plugs that will go at the beginning and end of the run of tubing. They only have an outlet on one side, the other side is capped. All the others will have an outlet on both sides. Our Deca battery that we're using here today is a 48-volt battery. I've installed the vent cap with the end plug on the one corner, and I will install the other vent cap with the end plug at the end of the run on the other corner. I'm going to cut the tubing right about here to put our filler at the middle of the battery for this customer. Vent caps go in very easily. Just put them in the hole, snap them down. The vent caps are all installed. The tubing is now ready to be installed. I've placed it in our first in the run here, and I'm just going to measure out just with a little bit of slack. Let me get out of the way here. A little bit of slack, measure to the center of the next cap. And there's lines on the actual tubing that make it real easy for cutting your tubing. So we'll just cut that. Insert it into the next cap, push in until it's nice and secure, and then repeat the process for the following cap. First end into the other side, and your caps will move if you need to adjust it a little bit. Come to the middle of the following cap, cut our tubing, and install it firmly. It should not pull out with a little bit of pressure. And we'll just go around the horn here. Just one side note here, be sure when you're installing these caps and vent tubes, you're using electrically safe tools. You don't want to arc out against the battery. I'm measuring the tubing and the point where I'm going to cut. One thing to keep in mind is you want to cut this tubing at a 90-degree angle so that you get a nice flush fit into the next valve. So I'm 90 degrees to the tubing. Have a nice straight cut. It'll press into the valve nicely. Now that we have all our vent caps connected with hose, we're going to decide where we want to install our T-fitting for the water inlet. And for us, I think we're going to go right here so that it'll lay down nice and flat when it's not in use and be out of the way. So I'm going to cut, split this line in half. And then the same way we connected all the other fittings, we're going to push into the T. And it's that easy. What I'll do next, just so this hose stays nice and secure, doesn't get torn off when changing batteries, I'll just put a zip tie around one of the battery caps. And that'll just hold that hose. You don't have to make it real tight, just keep it in place. The final step in installing the stealth watering system is to put the quick disconnect fitting on the water inlet hose. I'm going to slide on the first part of the fitting. Take the barb end of the fitting and slide the tube over the barb and just bring the rest of the fitting up, and it's a twist lock. The stealth watering system install is complete. We're ready to fill the battery with water from our Deionizer, and we'll show you that next. Ready to connect our hose to our stealth watering system. We have our stealth adapter to connect to our hose. That's FSIP part number 94-SPWGUN. SPWGUN. They're a quick disconnect and disconnect, so simply snap them together. You'll see the spinner in there spinning as it's filling. And once it's filled, the spinner should stop. This was a thirsty battery. Hours of excitement, kids. You can see by the spinner on the quick disconnect that the water is still flowing into the battery. These are made to be able to visually easily check them. When the little yellow ball appears in the window, that cell is full, and water will keep traveling around the circuit until it fills them all. This one just popped. This one and this one are still down and waiting to accept a little more water before they pop. And we can see by our spinner that it's slowing down a little, so the flow rate is slowing down, but still filling. So the last cell, the little yellow indicator ball has popped, and all of them are up now and floating in the windows, which means our battery is properly filled. You see the spinner is just barely moving now. I'm going to disconnect the filler from the battery, the stealth watering system, and to do that, just push the gray button and we're apart. Thank you for joining us for the stealth watering system install. and for another edition of FSIP Workshop. Be sure and check us out online. Stop by our online store.